What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, the Fable news happened a day and a half ago, whatever. I did a video about it, last video. And like clockwork, donkey unicorns, pony bots, and the like, grifters, Dreamcast guy, specifically. He's the number one grifter. He's a grifter that drifts. Skirt. They're saying, oh, Fable's delayed because of a PlayStation 5 port. And I'm like, one thing that annoys me, but I know it's part of the war, it's part of the console war, is that the need to try to perpetuate and uphold a certain narrative. That narrative right now is that whole slate, all Xbox games going to PlayStation, which is not true, because it's just not true. If it was the whole slate, all the games would be there already, right? They're not. How many games you got? 4? You got 4. Doom is another one, and Indiana, so 6. They're not there yet, but 6. 4 now, another 2 this year at least, but what else? That's not the host. That's not even close to the whole slate. And so now, Donkey Unicorns, Ponies, Porter Rock High, looking at you, buddy. That's what you're saying. Oh, all the games are going to come to PlayStation. And of course, that logic is flawed because they're all idiots, of course. And I mean, you know what? They're not idiots. They just like to waste money. That's what it is. And if you want to waste money by supporting Xbox, by all means. Because y'all like to buy your games. I mean, you don't buy PlayStation games, but obviously you buy Xbox games on PlayStation, which is, it's kind of ironic. It's kind of ironic that Xbox games sell better on PlayStation than PlayStation games sell on PlayStation. Isn't that something? That is the biggest FU in video games that you can think of. It's like I bet you they were at Microsoft HQ. Listen, and Phil's like, okay, guys, we're gonna have ding ding, meetings started. All right, let's see Sarah, what you got? Well, we're working on the most magnificent console ever in the future. You know what I'm saying? You know, she got attitude. And Phil's like, okay, I'm gonna come back to you. Matt, what you got, Matthew? He's like, we're gonna spend the money. We're gonna eat their faces. It's like, all right, calm down, damn. I mean, I'm sorry, Phil. I had my coffee. So what we're gonna do is we're going to sell our games on the PlayStation. Everybody said, whoa, hold on, no, we can't do it. Listen, everyone, listen. They're gonna buy them full price. Oh, well, I didn't think about that. But they're not going to PS Plus. No, never to PS Plus. Always full price. So that's 70%, carry the 2. That's not a bad idea, Matthew. We're gonna, okay. And so now, every time a PlayStation, a Donkey Unicorn, a Sony Pony cheers and hoops and hollers about them getting the Xbox game, a new indie game is born on Xbox. A new first party game is born, like gets its wings, because that's what they're doing. They're funding Xbox. Donkey Unicorns and Ponies and whoever else buys on PlayStation, Xbox games are funding. They're sleeping with the enemy, if you will. I mean, you know, it's not really a war like that, but, you know, if they want to put it as opposing sides, they're funding the enemy. I mean, look, when you're playing Infinite D chess and PlayStation is playing tic-tac-toe. They're not even on checkers. They don't even have a board. They just got paper. They drawing it in the dirt with a stick. That's what they playing. You can't compete. Remember when Satya said, let us compete, let us compete? Satya knew what he was talking about. Satya was like, listen, I'm going all in. Y'all don't know. I ain't playing. And he wasn't playing. And now it looks like Sony can't compete with Xbox with the games. Because you notice, the only thing that Ponies and Donkey Unicorns tout is these console sales. And Sony's perpetuating that by giving you false hope. We're giving you false numbers. Oh yeah, 75 shipped. Oh, okay. How many MAUs you got off of that 75? Not 75. Because they ain't 75 sold. 75. They made 75 million. But they ain't sell 75 million. And that's I'm like, it's so like, it's just funny to me that these Donkey Unicorns and Ponies are grasping at every little thing when they know it's false. They know it's not true. They know what the real deal is, but they don't actually know the real number because Sony won't tell them. They keep them in the dark. They're not transparent because they want to appear like they're winning. They want to appear like they're the market leader. While technically, I guess on the number side, I would have to go back and see if they actually are, because I mean, if you're gonna use the metric of revenue, then they might be. But if you do it by profit, maybe not, because their operating income, their operating cost is so high that it negates the high revenues that they get. So, that's the reality of the situation. And so Donkey Unicorns and Ponies are, they're trying their best to downplay anything good that happens on the Xbox side, and I mean, it kind of works a little bit, but honestly, it's not going to work forever, just like I said back before, like when this generation started, I said, you can be on top, you could be the king of the hill, whatever, but it doesn't last forever. There's always going to be a new one. There's always going to be a new king. There's always going to be someone to take the place, because it is very difficult to keep that position. And Sony did not have the funding. They weren't big enough to maintain that. They're not a giant, huge corporation like that. They're big, yes, but comparatively to Google, Apple, Microsoft, no, they're not. So that's when Phil said this years ago, he said, we're not in competition with Sony. They're not our competitors. Our competitors are Google, Apple, Amazon. And he was right. Everything that Phil has said, for the most part, everything that he said has been correct. I mean, he said stuff about like that they're going to do VR and stuff, but they changed their mind. They're like, yeah, it's not a good idea. So that happens. You know what I'm saying? And just like, only 4 games, people misconstrue it. He didn't say only 4 games. The question was asked, is Indiana Jones or Starfield part of those 4 games? And the answer was no, because they were not at the time. But now, of course, things changed and they did some stuff. And so, but that's still not a false statement, because at the time it was just those 4 games. So, and so it's all about interpretation. It's all about, people want to glean what the meaning is, and they want to misconstrue what the man says in order to support their narrative and to support their agenda to defame and discredit and diss everything Microsoft, Xbox. And they can try as much as they want, but I mean, like I said, they get Microsoft, Xbox, they got the games coming, right? The fact that Fable was delayed, and I'm seeing the actual, like, not results, but the reactions from different contributors, different YouTube people's influencers, if you will. And I haven't heard anyone say, oh my gosh, doom and gloom, is this game's gonna get canceled? None of that. They're like, good, give it one more time. We got plenty of we got too many games to play anyway. Thank you. Thank you for giving me time to play all these games that y'all are giving us. Oh my gosh, I'm so full. Basically, that's what's happening. And so it didn't work. Like usually, like I said in my last video, usually a delay is bad news. It's a Twitter post with just text and nobody says nothing. That's the Sony way. That's the third party way. But Microsoft, they are more hands-on. They are more upfront. They are more transparent to their benefit and to their detriment. Mostly, sometimes it's to their detriment, yes. But in this case, it's to their benefit because that's what we want. We want to know what's going on. We don't want the silence. Oh, it's delayed. See you later. And then everybody just runs around and starts throwing up their hands and just hooting and hollering and crying. Like Tim Dog, Tim Puppy, Tim Poodle. And Microsoft is like, nah, son, we gonna say what's up. We're going to be transparent. We're going to be straight up. And that's the type of company you want to deal with. You don't want to deal with a company that's saying stuff behind your back, keeping secrets, but like, surprise, extra money, surprise, prices go up, surprise, service goes down. I don't think that was, that was a surprise, but I don't think they tried intentionally put the service down. But I'm just saying, would you rather a business that tells you what's up, it tells you, keeps you, informed, or a business that's just secretive, need to know basis? You're not important enough to talk to you on a regular basis. We don't respect you enough to give you any insight, any roadmaps or anything. I hear these ponies and ducking unicorns making fun, mainly Jimmy Neutron, making fun of roadmaps. I'm like, how you gonna make fun of? You don't even have one. Why are you making fun? You making a fun of a roadmap because we have one and we can proudly say we got a roadmap and it's looking mighty nice. That road is paved and it's straight. There's some curves here and there because you got the suspension, you got the sports package, so you can hug them curves, get the exhilaration. But for the most part, it's a brand new road, and then we can see it all the way to the end, pretty much. Yours, road closed construction. There's a dude with the sign, with the slow down and the stop, flip it to the stop. He's the stop, and he's taking a lunch break. That's what's happening on PlayStation. No roadmap. The satellite connect to the GPS. No roadmap. Y'all are just, we hope we get some Xbox games. That's when the video game industry is flipped upside down, going crazy. When Xbox is doing good, Xbox looks like the future, basically. And PlayStation, they are banking, literally and figuratively, off of Xbox games. I would have never imagined a day where ponies and ducking unicorns would be happy and bragging about Xbox games. And the fact that they can play it on their PlayStation, that's not even a win. That's not even like a brag because they have to pay for it, and they're paying for it helps Microsoft. So I really don't understand the psychology behind that, the psychosis. I don't understand the thinking behind that. If they hate Xbox so much, why are you supporting it? If you hate Xbox so much and their games are so trash and Game Pass is all this and that and the third, why are you bragging about it? Because they want to see the demise of the Xbox console. But there is no demise of the console, first of all, because they're coming out with 2 new consoles, right? Maybe it'll be a smaller imprint depending on the success. And so the smart thing that a giant corporation like Microsoft would do and is doing is they're going to reevaluate. They're going to say, okay, look, usually we shoot for 50 million, 60, 70, 80 million consoles sold. This time we're gonna cut that back, lower our not lower expectations, but bring it back a little bit to be a little bit more conservative, because they don't need to rely on their own console anymore to sell their games. They got PC, they got Switch too, and PlayStation is I think PlayStation is like the third option, because PCs is, besides their own proprietary hardware, Xbox and Xbox P portable, the XP. That's a bad name, by the way, but Let's just call it the XP, the XBP, the XBP. Anyway, besides those, PC is number 2, Switch 2 is number 3, and then last place, number 4th place is PlayStation, whatever, PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation, I don't know, whatever the PlayStation is going to be at that point. And so you look at all, and plus streaming. And so you look at all the different, what was that, 6? That was 5. Wait, no, it's actually, if you count Xboxes as 2 SKUs, Xbox is a PC, Switch, streaming, PlayStation. That's 6 different devices, 6 different ways for them to make money off of their IP, off of their games. And so that alone is smart, because that's what Rockstar does. That's what Fortnite does. That's what Minecraft does. That's what FIFA does. FC Club does. That's what Madden does. All of the biggest games are everywhere. And so that's what Microsoft wants. Microsoft wants the biggest games. They want to make games that are the biggest games. They want that Fortnite type of game. Not the game itself, but that type of success, that type of money, that size of a success. And Sony wants the same thing, but they're not willing to do what is necessary. They are too stuck on, console, this whole perception that has been created. I'm not going to say they created it, but it has been created because of the history of video games. It started off, each video game console was proprietary. They had their own hardware, they had their own software, bespoke, didn't work on anything else except for the ColecoVision that had an Atari 2600 adapter. They got sued out of existence. Atari won, and Coleco does not exist anymore. That's why ColecoVision and all that stuff went away, because they got sued by Atari for making that adapter for the 2600. And my cousin had that, and it worked flawlessly. I was like, yo, we playing 2600 games on the ColecoVision? What's going on here? This is the best thing ever. And then because Atari came through and sued them, I was like, oh man, I ruined the fun. We were trying to have some fun with it. But I mean, whatever. But it's always proprietary, way back to Atari, 2600, 5200, 7800, all proprietary, except they were backwards compatible. You got the 7800, you could play the older games. That was cool. ColecoVision, whatever. NES came out, all proprietary. They were so proprietary that they were like, yo, you can't, they had to, who was it? I think Atari had to make Tengen, had to do a third-party corporation to make Nintendo games. And then they got licenses for Tetris. I think Afterburner was on Tengen as well. I can't remember. I know Afterburner was on NES. There was an NES version of Afterburner, which is asinine because Afterburner is a Sega IP. Sega had the Sega Master System. I had Afterburner on the Sega Master System. It was a game that flickered a lot because the Master System was not a powerful system. The music was, but I was a Sega fan, so that's what happened. Space Harrier was pretty good, but that was flicker too. But those were proprietary. I would say that Sega's Sega Master System 3D was 1,000 times better than the NES 3D system. It wasn't even a system. It was just like glasses. It was crap. But the Sega Master System 3D, it had shutter glasses. I was like, yo, this is crazy. It was the best 3D. I was like, yo, this is dope. But anyway, moving on to Genesis, Super Nintendo, all proprietary. Genesis game did not work on the Super Nintendo. And that's where this whole console war began, because you sell a whole bunch of consoles. That means you have a giant install base that can buy your games. That was the end goal, to get enough people to buy your console so that you can sell a whole bunch of games. That was the model. Sony is still stuck in that model, even though that model doesn't even exist. It doesn't apply today. And so I'm like, you're saying that you shipped 75 million consoles, but you're not selling the games. So they could say they have 500 million shipped, but if they're not selling the games, it doesn't matter how many consoles they say that they're shipped. It doesn't matter, because they're not selling the games. And that was that whole business strategy is predicated on selling games. You sell consoles to sell games. They're not selling games, so it doesn't matter what they say they've sold. They say they've shipped. It doesn't matter. And that's where you see it's broken. It's broken. And that's where Microsoft was like, yeah. And you could be like, okay, wait. So I don't know what numbers that they're selling on Xbox, but I know that the MAUs are high, and that's important because MAUs equal monthly recurring income from Game Pass, right? And so when you say you got 45 million people playing Sea of Thieves, I guess that's plus PlayStation now. That's cash money. That's people playing that are paying for Game Pass probably. And so it's like, it's reoccurring money. It's not free money, but it's just like, yo, that has replaced we need to sell this many consoles in order to sell this many games. It has replaced it. And they're smart because you don't need to buy a console in order to have Game Pass. So they can have Xbox gamers without having to sell them a piece of plastic. And they're paying the $20. So it's like they've created a system and an ecosystem where they're not beholden to console sale numbers. And so when I look at the donkey unicorns and the ponies and they're bragging about, oh, we got more consoles, we sold more consoles, in an industry where that number is irrelevant to this day, I'm like, I don't know what it's going to take for them to realize that they're idiots. But I would say that when Xbox comes out with their handheld, I mean, their home consoles, some people will buy. They have a hardcore install base that will buy that. I will buy the next Xbox home box, whatever it's called, the Xbox Series BIG, the big box, big Xbox, whatever it's called. I'm gonna buy that, and I'm gonna buy the handheld because I'm curious. And I don't own a handheld. I didn't buy a ROG Ally. I didn't buy the Steam Deck. I didn't buy any of that. I don't have a Switch. But I'm like, you know what? That Xbox though. And if the price is too high, I'll wait. I'll wait for a sale or whatever. But I'll get it eventually because I still have a collector inside of me. So it's like, I want to get certain things. And also, I think that if they do it right, if they do it the way that Phil wants it to be done, which I don't see why they can't. I think they can do it. It's gonna sell because it'll be like the Steam Deck and the Xbox had a baby, and if it can do all the things that it needs to do, like Steam, Epic Game, Xbox, and GOG, it's a wrap. Like man, PlayStation can't compete with that. And it's like, it's so funny because it's like, I mean, PlayStation they had a bunch of handhelds before. How come Nintendo was beating their ass in the handheld market? They beat them so bad that Sony gave up. Remember, y'all want to talk about winners of console wars. Sony lost the handheld console war to Nintendo. I don't hear nobody saying nothing about that. They lost it hard. The Vita was a failure. It was a highfalutin extra credit. You got too much crap on this handheld. Look, technology is like cool. It's like, oh, that's a cool feature. But you have to think practically. You have to say, okay, how many developers are actually going to do stuff with this back touchpad? 0. One game? I don't know how many games. It's the same thing with the DualSense. Nobody uses that goofy pad on the front. It's a highfalutin button. It's like, nobody uses it. It's trash. It's just like the PSVR. They even gave up on it before everybody. I mean, people are still making stuff for that, but not really. It's done. It's failed. Hey, look. I'm rambling, but I'm just saying, these ponies and the donkey unicorns, I mean, this started off with the Fable stuff, but it goes to, other places because You know, you look at the overall market, you look at what Sony's doing, you look at what Microsoft is doing, and I won't say pick sides, but you have to take into account the health of the industry and who is making the industry more healthy and who is really not helping. You're not helping, canceling games, closing studios. I mean, just today, last thing, not today, I think it was yesterday, but Warner Brothers, Wonder Woman no more. Monolith is done. I'm like, and the other two studios, I'm like, come on, son, what really? So look, nobody is safe as far as that stuff goes, but you know, this is video games, and as far as like what Microsoft is doing, I'm digging it. I'm liking what they're doing. I like the direction they're doing it. I like the fact that they're talking to us and giving us the what's up. And look, the roadmap is nice, and the games are looking. Look, I saw the Fable. I was like, yo, I saw it like on phone secondhand streams, and I was like, why is it so choppy? Then I watched the actual stream from Xbox on Xbox channel. Crispy, son. And I remember Reforge was like, that was not this was real gameplay. The other stuff before was, and I'm like, first of all, it said in-game footage and say gameplay per se. So a lot of it was cutscenes and stuff. Second, you know, what they showed was pre-alpha gameplay. Okay. Third, if you look at the gameplay they just came out with versus the older gameplay, the newer gameplay looks so much sharper. I was like, yo, why is that so crispy, son? I was like, yo, that looks way better. He's like, oh, it's kind of stiff, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, can I jump through the internet and smack his big ass head just like that? But anyway, I appreciate you hanging out. Show them like and subscribe. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think about Sony's failure to remain dominant, the slow slide down into the depths of the shadow realm. That's where Sony's going. That's where PlayStation's going. PlayStation's dead. Concord's a failure. You know I gotta say that every. But anyway, I appreciate you, and catch you on the next one too. Wait.